So we're going to do a few more domain and ranges of equations and then some domain and ranges of graphs. So start off with two equations. So I have two separate equations here. I have my f of x equals 2x cubed plus 7 and f of x equals square root of x minus 6 plus 2. And I'm trying to see what my domain and ranges are of these. So hopefully remember that domain is the x's, again, alphabetical order. And to find them, I'm going to go ahead and see if I'm allowed to sub these three specific things in, negatives, zeros, or positives, into the thing that's happening in my function. So if I look at my function, it's a function of x, the thing that's happening to my x is it's being cubed. That's the big thing that's happening to it. So I'm going to see if I'm allowed to cube a negative. Can I cube a negative? And I can. If I look at negative 2, if I cube it, I get negative 8. So allowed to cube a negative. Can I cube a 0? Sure. 0 cubed is 0, so I can cube that. Can I cube a positive? And yes, 2 cubed is 8, so I can cube a positive. So I can cube all three of these, which means my domain is going to be everything. It's going to be negative infinity, including 0, all the way up to positive infinity. It's going to include everything. Let's look at my range. In range, I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to see if I'm allowed to get out, range is y, so it's your output. Am I allowed to get out a negative, a 0, and a positive from cubing something? So if I cube something, can I end up with a negative? And yeah, the example I gave, the negative 2, if I cube negative 2, I end up with a negative 8. So I can end up with a negative. Can I end up with a 0? Sure. Cube 0, I get 0. Can I end up with a positive? Sure. So my range is going to be everything. Negative infinity to infinity. Okay, so let's look at the other one. Here, domain, x's. So again, I'm looking for negatives, 0, and positives. And I want to get at my function, what's happening in my function. The thing happening in my function is the square root of x minus 6. So I'm going to say, what can I put into a square root? Can I take a square root of negative numbers? And I can't. Cannot take a square root of negative numbers, like imaginary, so it's not going to work. Can I take square root of 0? Sure, square root of 0 is 0. Can I take square root of positive numbers? Yeah, square root of 4 is 2, so I can take square root of positive numbers. So the thing inside my square root has to be 0 or positive. So x minus 6 has to be greater than or equal to 0, 0 or greater. So if I solve that, I'll get x is greater than or equal to 6, and I can write that in interval notation, 6 to infinity. Okay, so I'm going to do the same thing with my ranges. I'm going to say, can I do negatives, 0, and positives? So starting with the negative, can I get a negative out of a square root? Can I take the square root of anything and get a negative number? And again, I can't. So that's off my list of things that can be in my range. Can I get a 0 out of a square root? Sure, square root of 0 is 0. Can I get a positive out of square root? Sure. So the lowest I can get is a 0 out of the square root. So if I go here, the square root itself, the lowest it's going to give me is 0. And then it's going to go up. Well, if I add 2 to that, then the lowest my entire function would give me would be 2. And then going up. So my range should be 2 to infinity.